All right, let's dive in. Today we're taking a close look at Ceinsys Tech Limited.
Or should we say
Yeah.
CS Tech AI, as they're now calling themselves.
Right.
We've got their earnings call transcript. It looks like they're really making a splash in geospatial engineering and tech solutions.
It's not just maps and data anymore.
No.
They're involved in river linking projects in India,
Wow.
smart city development,
Interesting.
even some metaverse stuff.
Yeah.
But first,
Okay.
what exactly is Ceinsys Tech? What's their background?
Well, they've been around since 1998.
Okay.
And they've really established themselves in geospatial engineering over the years.
So they've got the experience,
Yeah.
but how far do they reach? Are they just local or are they thinking bigger?
They're definitely thinking globally
Yeah.
with offices in India,
Wow.
the US,
Okay.
the UK,
Uh-huh.
and Germany.
So they're all over.
And they've been making strategic acquisitions to boost their expertise, like Allegro Technologies, which focuses on mobility engineering,
Yeah.
and VTS,
Okay.
a geospatial telecom company based in the U.S.
So they're not just growing on their own.
Right.
They're actively looking for companies that fit their vision.
Yeah, like assembling a puzzle,
Exactly.
piece by piece.
And speaking of puzzle pieces,
Yeah.
they've also launched a new venture called Meganext,
Right?
which is all about AI,
Yes.
machine learning, and embedded electronics.
Yeah.
Meganext.
It sounds futuristic.
It really does.
Yeah.
So what's the plan with this venture?
It seems like they're aiming at those high growth areas like the metaverse,
Okay.
ed tech,
Right.
gaming,
Uh-huh.
and even mobility.
So they're really looking to be at the forefront of these new trends.
Yeah, they're not just riding the wave.
No.
They want to create the next wave.
Okay, so how does all of this fit together within the company? How are they structuring these different ventures?
Well, they've essentially split their operations into two main segments.
Okay.
The first is their traditional geospatial engineering services.
You could say they're bread and butter.
Yeah.
And the second?
The second is technology solutions.
Okay.
That's where all these new ventures and acquisitions and cutting edge stuff goes.
So like a two-pronged approach.
Yeah.
They're using their established experience in geospatial engineering
Right.
while at the same time building up this new tech solutions arm.
Exactly.
And it seems from the earnings call,
Yes.
like that tech solutions segment is already making waves.
It's actually generating more revenue than their traditional geospatial services.
Wow, so they're really putting their focus there.
It looks like it.
So why the shift? What's the reason for this change?
A couple reasons.
Okay.
The first is profit margins.
Makes sense.
Tech solutions typically have higher profit margins
Mm-hmm.
compared to traditional geospatial services.
Higher profits are always good.
Yeah.
What's the other reason?
Stability.
Okay.
Tech solutions usually involve
Mm-hmm.
ongoing contracts and subscriptions.
So it creates a more predictable revenue stream. Unlike geospatial engineering services,
Right.
which are often project-based.
Yeah. And can be a bit more volatile.
So Ceinsys is looking for that steadier growth.
Yeah, it seems like they're not just chasing quick wins,
Huh?
but building for long-term success.
They have the experience,
Yeah.
the global reach,
They do.
and they're strategically restructuring their business.
It looks like it.
But how are they actually performing? Let's get into the numbers.
Okay, well, their recent financial performance has been impressive.
Right.
Their first 9 months of fiscal year 2025 already exceeded their full year results for the previous 2 years.
So they're really on an upward trajectory.
It looks like it.
What's driving this?
Well, it's a few things.
Okay.
They've got successful project execution, increased operational efficiency,
Makes sense.
but they're also strategically focusing on high-value projects.
So high-value projects.
Right.
What does that mean in this context?
It's not just about the amount of money. It's more about the strategic importance and long-term impact of these projects.
So things like large-scale infrastructure development,
Yes.
complex tech integrations,
Right.
solutions that address crucial needs.
Yeah, these are the types of projects that Ceinsys is focusing on.
Okay, so they're not just going after any project.
Yeah.
They're being selective,
Yes.
focusing on the ones that align with their vision
Yeah.
and offer the greatest potential for growth.
Exactly.
It's a smart strategy.
Yeah. And then there's their order book.
Okay.
It's substantial,
Uh-huh.
and a big chunk of it is tied to CapEx projects.
For those of us who aren't finance experts,
Yes.
what does CapEx mean?
So CapEx stands for capital expenditure,
Okay.
which is basically investments in assets that will benefit the company over the long term, like infrastructure,
Okay.
equipment, or even software.
So a big order book with a lot of CapEx projects means...
But Ceinsys is securing contracts for projects that require a lot of upfront investment.
but will generate revenue over a longer period.
That's right.
So it's not just about quick wins.
Right.
It's about building a sustainable business.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's look at some of these contracts.
Okay.
What kind of projects are they landing?
One of the biggest is a major river linking project in Maharashtra, India.
Wow.
This project is valued at a huge 381 crore rupees.
River linking sounds ambitious.
It is.
It's not just connecting 2 points on a map, is it?
It's a massive undertaking.
I can imagine.
You need to understand hydrology.
Okay.
Environmental impact.
Right.
Complex engineering.
So Ceinsys is using its geospatial expertise to analyze all that data? And simulations to make sure the project is successful and sustainable.
So it's about understanding that balance between the environment and the communities.
Right.
What other projects are they involved in?
They've also secured a big IoT project with the Maharashtra State Water and Sanitation Mission.
Okay.
This project is valued at 332 crore rupee. So they're not just working on these big projects.
Right.
But also essential everyday challenges.
Yeah. They're making technology work for the greater good.
Exactly. And it aligns with your overall vision.
Yes.
Okay. But those aren't the only projects.
No, they've also won contracts for a GIS project with CIDCO.
Valued at
29 crore rupees. A digital transformation project with MHADA.
For how much?
28 crore rupees.
So they're really diversifying their offerings.
Yeah, and expanding into new areas.
We talked about their domestic success. But what about global ambitions?
They're definitely focusing on international markets.
Okay.
Particularly the U.S.
And how are they approaching that?
Through acquisitions.
Okay.
And by strengthening their business development team.
So they're acquiring companies to get a foothold.
Yeah.
While also building up their team to get new clients.
Exactly.
And they're being strategic about it.
Yes. They said they're looking at several acquisition targets.
Primarily.
In the geospatial domain. And 2 of them are in the final stages.
Acquisitions can be expensive.
That's true.
How are they financing all of this?
They've secured funding for acquisitions.
How much?
235 crore rupees through equity and share warrants.
So they're really committed to this expansion.
It seems like it.
And it's not just about money.
Right.
They're also investing in talent.
They're hiring a lot of people.
Especially.
For technical roles.
Makes sense.
To support these new projects. And to grow their expertise.
It's like building a team of experts.
Yeah.
But they're not sticking to their comfort zone either.
No, they're exploring new sectors.
Okay.
Like the U.S. telecom market.
Through
their VTS acquisition.
That's a huge market.
It is.
How do they plan to stand out?
They're focusing on their geospatial expertise.
Okay.
They believe they can use location data and insights to help telecom companies improve their infrastructure.
Makes sense.
Improve their service.
Okay.
And make better business decisions.
So they're not just selling maps and data.
No.
They're offering real solutions.
That can give companies an advantage.
It's a smart strategy.
But we need to remember every business faces risks and challenges.
Absolutely.
No matter how well positioned they are.
Let's talk about those risks.
Okay.
What should we be paying attention to when we think about Ceinsys' future?
Well, one of the biggest risks is their reliance on government contracts. Right now, a big chunk of their revenue comes from government projects, which can be uncertain, they can be delayed, and subject to policy changes.
So their dependence on those contracts could be a problem.
It could.
If those projects get delayed or canceled.
Yeah, that's a valid concern.
And then there's the challenge of integrating those acquisitions.
Right. It's not always easy.
To merge different company cultures.
And systems.
And processes.
So Ceinsys will have to manage those transitions carefully.
To avoid disruption.
And build a cohesive team.
Exactly.
And of course there's competition. Yes, the market is growing rapidly.
And new players are coming in all the time.
That's right.
Ceinsys needs to stay ahead of the game.
By innovating.
And differentiating themselves.
Yes, to keep that competitive edge.
It's like a race where the finish line keeps moving.
It is.
They need to keep running.
And adapting.
But they can't do it alone.
No.
They need the right people.
To drive innovation.
And make their plans a reality.
Yeah.
So managing that talent is going to be crucial.
It will.
For their long-term success.
Absolutely. Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
So before the break, we were talking about those risks Ceinsys faces.
Right.
Like their dependence on government contracts.
It's a bit of a tightrope walk.
It is.
Keeping those relationships strong.
Yeah.
While also finding other sources of revenue.
How are they doing that?
Their international expansion is a big part of it.
Okay.
And focusing on private sector clients.
So they're not putting all their eggs in one basket.
Exactly. By getting projects in different markets with a mix of clients,
they're less exposed if one area slows down.
That makes sense, but how are they getting those private sector clients?
They're showing how their tech solutions can really benefit businesses.
Okay.
Like in the U.S. telecom market.
Yeah.
They're emphasizing their geospatial data skills.
So, for example,
say a telecom company wants to improve its network coverage.
Oh.
Ceinsys can analyze all that location data. Find the weak spots.
Right.
And even predict future demand.
So it's not just raw data.
No.
It's about actionable insights.
That can really make a difference to a company's bottom line.
It's a strong selling point.
And it ties into their overall move towards tech solutions.
Right.
Which often come with those recurring subscriptions.
And service contracts.
Leading to that stable revenue stream.
So everyone wins.
Yeah.
Ceinsys gets reliable income.
Yeah.
Clients get those cutting-edge solutions.
But we talked about acquisitions.
Right.
And integrating a new company isn't always easy.
What kind of bumps in the road might they hit? Well, blending different company cultures can be tough.
Yeah.
Different systems.
Yeah.
Different leadership styles.
It's like trying to mix different ingredients.
Right.
You need to get that balance right to end up with a good result.
What's interesting is how Ceinsys is handling these acquisitions.
Okay.
They're not just absorbing these companies and forcing them to do things their way.
No.
They're looking for companies with specific expertise.
Okay.
And then letting those teams keep innovating.
So they're not stifling that creativity.
Exactly.
That attracted them in the first place.
They're nurturing those strengths and making them part of the bigger picture.
And this helps with talent too.
Absolutely.
Attracting and keeping those skilled people.
By building a culture that values innovation.
Yeah.
They're more likely to attract and keep top talent.
Even in a competitive market.
Right.
It's all connected, isn't it?
It is.
Their acquisitions, their focus on tech solutions.
And their approach to talent.
It all creates a more resilient business.
Yeah, but remember,
the
market is constantly changing.
Right.
What can Ceinsys do to stay ahead?
Innovation is key.
Absolutely.
They can't just sit back.
No.
They need to invest in research.
Yes.
Explore new technologies.
And even anticipate future trends.
It's like a game of chess.
Yeah.
You need to think several moves ahead.
That's right.
So let's talk about Ceinsys' future.
Okay.
What does the road ahead look like?
Well, based on everything we've seen, they seem to be on track to become a global leader.
A bright future, then.
But we have to remember those risks.
Of course.
They're still there.
Their reliance on government contracts
could cause problems.
Yeah.
If those projects get delayed or canceled.
Right. And integrating those acquisitions won't be easy.
It takes careful planning.
And execution.
But Ceinsys seems to be aware of these challenges.
Okay.
And they're taking steps to address them.
It's like navigating a ship through rough waters.
It is.
You need to be ready for storms. Have a good crew.
And a strong ship.
To get to your destination.
And their success will depend on more than just strategy. They need to adapt, innovate.
And execute their plans well.
What specific opportunities should they be looking at?
Yeah. Where do you see the most potential for growth?
One area is where geospatial data meets AI.
Okay.
Combining those two could lead to some really powerful solutions.
For things like?
Urban planning, disaster response, even personalized marketing and healthcare.
And it's a powerful combination.
And Ceinsys is already working with both.
Right through Magnetic.
Exactly. Another area is the metaverse.
We hear that word everywhere.
We do.
But what does a company like Ceinsys, focused on the physical world, have to do with the metaverse?
Well, even virtual worlds need maps.
Okay.
And spatial data.
I guess so.
Ceinsys could use its expertise to create realistic virtual environments.
For what?
For games, entertainment, training simulations.
Like a virtual city that's just like the real one.
Yeah, with accurate streets, building.
Even traffic.
And Ceinsys has experience with that.
Right, from their smart city work.
Exactly.
But it's more than just maps.
Yes.
They could develop tools for navigating those virtual worlds.
For interacting with them.
Even making money from them.
Think about location-based advertising.
In the metaverse.
Virtual real estate.
Wow.
Blending the physical and virtual.
The possibilities are huge.
They are.
Ceinsys could be shaping the metaverse.
Yeah, but let's step back for a second as we wrap up our deep dive.
What are the key takeaways?
Well, one is that Ceinsys is changing.
Yeah.
They're moving from just geospatial data
to full-blown tech solutions.
And they're doing it with a clear vision.
And a commitment to innovation.
They're not just adapting, they're actively shaping the future.
That's a good lesson for any business.
Another takeaway is the power of geospatial data.
We take it for granted.
We do, but Ceinsys is showing us how valuable it can be.
For solving complex problems.
For optimizing things.
Even creating new experiences.
And finally, I think Ceinsys' story highlights adaptability.
And resilience.
Every business faces challenges.
But the successful ones
are the ones that can adapt.
Embrace new technology.
And overcome those challenges.
Ceinsys is definitely a company to watch.
They're pushing the boundaries.
And their journey is inspiring.
So that brings us to the end of part 2.
When we come back for the final part,
we'll look at the financial side of things.
Their growth strategies.
And numbers.
And what the future holds for this innovative company.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've talked about Ceinsys Tech's journey. From geospatial data to tech solutions.
But we haven't really looked at their financials yet.
It's like checking out the engine of a race car.
Yeah, we've seen it in action.
But now we want to know what makes it go so fast.
And they seem to be performing really well.
They are exceeding their targets.
And they've got that big order book.
So what's their strategy for all this?
Their move toward tech solutions seems to be key.
Right, those recurring subscription
and service contracts
create a much more predictable revenue stream.
It's like a solid base for them to build on.
But they're not just relying on that one thing.
What else are they doing?
They've got that aggressive acquisition strategy.
Yeah, bringing in new expertise.
Expanding their reach.
But acquisitions aren't everything.
No, they're also working on organic growth.
Why?
Strengthening their business development teams.
Especially
in the U.S. market.
So they're finding new clients.
And securing those high-value projects.
Like a 2-engine plane.
Acquisitions boost them forward.
Organic growth keeps them climbing steadily.
But we can't forget about talent.
Right.
Ceinsys knows that getting and keeping good people is essential.
They've been hiring a lot.
Especially for technical roles.
To support their projects.
And their innovation goals.
It's like having a team of specialists.
Each one contributing their skills.
But even with the best strategy and the best team,
there are always challenges.
We talked about their reliance on government contracts.
A big chunk of their revenue still comes from those.
And those can be uncertain.
Your policy changes.
Even cancellations.
So how are they dealing with that?
Their international expansion is a big part of it.
Okay.
And their focus on private sector clients.
So they're spreading their risk.
Exactly, by having projects in different places.
Or different types of clients.
They're less affected if one area has problems.
But what about the risks from those acquisitions?
Integrating different companies is always tricky.
Yeah, merging cultures.
Operations.
Ceinsys needs to make sure those transitions go smoothly.
Encourage collaboration.
And use the strengths of each team.
But they also face competition.
Try. The market is always changing.
New companies popping up.
Technology's changing fast.
It's like sailing in uncharted waters.
You have to constantly adjust.
Keep an eye out for what's coming.
So how can Ceinsys stay competitive? Innovation is crucial.
They need to invest in research and development.
Explore new technologies.
Like AI and the metaverse.
And find ways to stand out from the crowd.
They need to be a leader, not a follower.
And that's where their financial strength comes in.
Right. Their strong performance gives them the resources to invest.
To explore new markets.
To develop new solutions.
So what's the big takeaway for our listeners?
What can we learn from Ceinsys?
I think it's about strategic evolution.
They didn't just keep doing the same thing.
They saw the changes coming.
And changed their business to meet those changes.
They built a better surfboard.
It's a great example of how to use your expertise.
To deal with disruption.
And become a leader in a changing market.
Their story shows the importance of vision.
Adaptability.
And constantly looking for new ways to do things.
Ceinsys is a company to keep an eye on.
They're doing amazing things with geospatial data and technology.
This deep dive has been fascinating.
We've learned a lot about their journey.
Their strategies.
And their potential.
We hope you found it insightful.
And maybe even inspiring.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
Keep exploring.
Keep innovating.
And keep pushing the boundaries.